In this video, we'll look at testing claims about the population mean using the p-value method. But this time when we use the p-value method, we're going to use StatCrunch to help us find all of the statistics that we need, like the test statistic and the exact p-value. If you haven't watched the other videos on testing claims about the mean, then take a look at this example here. Pause the video if you need to. In this example, we're asked to determine if there's enough evidence to support a claim from a consumer group who thinks that oranges that are being sold are underweight. Well, the weight labeled on the bags of oranges is 10 pounds, so since this is a quantitative measurement, the best way to assess this is to look at the value of the mean. So the null hypothesis would be that the mean value is 10 pounds, or in other words, that the bags are labeled appropriately. They might not all be exactly 10 pounds, but they should average out to 10. The consumer group thinks that they're underweight, which would mean that the mean weight of the bags is less than 10 pounds. So the conditions are met here because we have a normal distribution despite the fact that we have a small sample size. So in order to test this, we need to first calculate a test statistic, and we need to find the p-value of that test statistic. So we need to know how far away the sample mean is. Here the sample mean is given as 9.8 pounds, and the sample standard deviation is 0.33 pounds. So the test statistic would measure, under the assumption of the null hypothesis, how far away 9.8 is from 10 in terms of standard deviations. And the p-value would then give us a measurement of the likelihood of something that far away or even further away. So in order to find those values, we're actually going to, what we're going to do, if we can do it here, is we're going to go ahead and we're going to open up StatCrunch. So if we take a minute to open up StatCrunch, I've just got to situate my computer here so that I can do that. So opening StatCrunch, I'm going to go to the web. I'm going to go to StatCrunch.com, and here's StatCrunch. Sometimes in the exercises in the homework, you'll actually open StatCrunch, or you'll be given data, and then you can click on the little blue icon to open that data in StatCrunch. But whether you have the data or you're just using summary statistics like we are here, to find the test statistic and p-value, we go to Stat, T-stats, because this is a t-test for the mean. We have one sample. That's all we're going to have in this class is one sample. Here we're doing it with summary. If you had the data, you would do with data. So t-stats, one sample with summary. The dialog box is going to ask us for the sample mean. That was 9.8 pounds. Sample mean is 9.8. The sample standard deviation was 0.33 pounds, and the sample size was 10. They sampled 10 bags. Then we have to go ahead and put in some information for our hypotheses. So the null hypothesis said that the mean weight of the bags was 10 pounds, and the alternative is that the mean is less than 10 pounds. Notice here that they're using HA instead of H1. We don't need a confidence interval, so we just go ahead and click on Compute, and here we have some information. Verify that you put the hypotheses in right. Here's your sample mean. Your degrees of freedom is 9. That's one less than your sample size. The t-stat is your test statistic. So our test statistic is negative 1.917 if we round to 3 places, and the p-value is 0.04. So going back to our notes here, we have that the test statistic was t equals negative 1.917, and the p-value is 0.04. And so, of course, the rule is that we reject the null hypothesis if the p-value is less than alpha. That's always the rule, whether it's a left-tailed, right-tailed, or two-tailed test. And so here our p-value of 0.04 compared to our alpha, or our significance level, that's what alpha stands for. Our significance level is 1%, so 0.01. So is the p-value less than alpha? Big question mark there, and of course the answer is no, 4% compared to 1%. So our p-value is not less than alpha, so we do not reject the null hypothesis, and we conclude that there is not enough evidence to say that the bags are on average underweight, or less than 10 pounds. So they might have a sample of 10 that's under 10 pounds, but that's not enough evidence to say that the mean weight is less than 10 pounds in the population.